Hello, my name is Holly from My Daily HAEDs. Thank you for joining me today. Today is January the 30th, 2023, Monday. First project we'll be talking about is Falling Snow by Alan Giana. I'll be putting the picture of it here. I'm going to try to do that. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's being worked on 25 count lugana 1/1 full cross, and I'm trying to figure out where that is. And this is how far it is now. I'm almost to the bottom of that diagonal. I've only got 4 more columns until I reach the very corner, so it's going along well. I'm finding the 25 count a lot easier to work with it. And I guess it's just I reached 1,316 stitches this week. My goal was 1,400. That didn't happen, but it's at 36.62%. So it's coming along really well. Mini Evening I won't be showing to you today. Mini Evening is by Leonid Afremov, but I didn't get a chance to work on it at all this past week, so it won't be shown today. It's still where it was when you saw it last. And the last project I'll be showing today is Mini Mountain Landscape. It's a stock photo charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This project worked on 18 count aida, 2/1 full cross. It's at 52.90%, and I reached my goal of 3,511 stitches this past week. This curtain is in the way. I'm quite happy with that. It's coming along really well. With me not attaining my goals this week, this past week has been super busy with very uninteresting things. It's just one of those weeks where there's a lot of things you need to do, and they aren't fun to do but need to be done. So I've decided to go back to the similar way I was working with. The reason why I moved up Falling Snow to 200 stitches a day originally after Christmas was that I had calculated that I needed to do 200 stitches a day to get it done before next Christmas. However, that was when I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to do a blitz like I do when I start finishing things. I always kind of get super focused, hyper focused on one thing, and I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to sustain that with the smaller count. However, I've become quite comfortable, except for still with the lighter colors. I was working on the 3865 yesterday on Falling Snow, and boy, you doggy, it's still a struggle. But I'm now officially, it started out as over 9,000, I think it's 97,000 stitches of 3865 when I started the project, and I'm now officially 6902 of white stitches, 3865 left. So I mean, there's plenty of other light colors, but that particular light color was just doing my head in. But I did a huge chunk of it again yesterday, and yeah, it was a bit trickier. I had to go stitch even slower but to make sure I was stitching where I should be and looking at it really close. But I did it. So I'm now not as worried as I was, because I was thinking I would only be able to do up to 200 stitches a day. So now I'm going to go back to my normal way. My usual way is I usually, before I started doing this at, after Christmas, I would work on my other projects. Like first I would do Falling Snow and do 100 stitches, at least 100 stitches on that, and then my other project would get 100 stitches, which would be Mini Evening, and then I would work on the rest of the day with my main focus. It also means, going back to that plan, means that my hope of having this done quickly, I'll have to readjust. I'm not gonna keep stressing over it. It gets done, and then I'll just put my head down and plow through Falling Snow. And the sooner I get Mountain Landscape done, that means the sooner I can work on Falling Snow and get that done. And I know it seems like I'm rushing through, but the way I do my cross stitches, I deliberately choose smaller projects because I want to see them done. And kudos to people that can sit there and plan 10 years out for a supersized HAED or whatever, but that would drive me absolutely bonkers. And yeah, I did mention to my husband a few months ago that I was thinking about it, and he just looked at me. He said, "Are you mad?" He said that would drive you crazy, and it's true. It would. I would be super worried about getting it done and getting it done quickly, and having that many stitches focused on just one project is not something that I'm willing to invest in. Yeah, I'm not as young as I used to be. When you're in your 20s and you can get something like that and think, oh, I'll have that done before I go into nursing home. But when you're my age, you're thinking, do I really have that many years left in me? only God knows, right? So it's something that I've decided to kind of back off, relax, and try to enjoy the process a bit more. I was getting completely stressed out. Very anxious about it, and I don't need that. It's a craft. Also, it's getting, well, at the moment it's a beautiful sunny bright blue sky day at the end of January. It's been quite relatively mild, but who knows what will be coming coming along. Spring and summer are usually a little bit busier. We spend more time out of home doing bits and pieces. So we'll see from there. There was a couple of things I wanted to show you. Today I spent some time, I made some cotton socks, one pair of cotton socks. It was the first pair of socks I ever made, and I always assumed that wool socks would be too hot for me, and then I would be worried about washing them and stuff. I didn't know at that point in time about superwash yarns. I didn't know that wool has this really cool, interesting knack of keeping you warm when it's cold outside, but when you're wearing it in the summer, unless it's like a thick bulky wool, but with finger and weight yarns, sock yarns, four ply sock yarns, I tend to wear my wool socks year round, and they keep your feet cooler. And I find acrylic socks are the ones that keep your feet really super hot or commercial socks to keep your feet hot in the summertime. So anyway, the thing about cotton yarns is that they stretch out over time. So what I did is, and also the socks that I'd made, they had a couple holes in them. So what I've done is I've taken them apart, and I did that this morning because I discovered they had holes in them this morning, and I was just thinking, they're loose, they're floppy, and now they got holes in them. I really didn't feel like it was worth my time to mend them. So I've taken the yarn back out, or frogged them, or whatever you want to say. And I'll be making a dishcloth with the yarn because it's, or not dishcloth, but like a scrubbing cloth for around the house. I like reusing things if I possibly can. And this will be, I love the color of the yarn, the blues and the greens, and that will just be a way of giving new life to something that's served me quite well, because it's been 4 or 5 years since I made these. So that was one thing. And also, years and years ago, oh goodness, 20 odd years ago now, about 21 years, my husband made this for me for our anniversary present. He even put my initials on it. So it's not that he does projects like this very often. In fact, he started a Bookmark a few years ago, and due to his eyesight, he decided not to continue. But this, I just thought it was a lovely scissor keep. That's something just to show you that my husband likes doing things like this as well. Not so much as needlework like that. And somehow this got cut in two, and I've just tied knots in it. I think, yeah, I don't know how it happened. It may have been my son. He was quite young. He may have inadvertently done it, or was just playing with scissors and clipped it, or maybe I threw the scissors. I mean, it's been so long now, I don't remember the exact details. I vaguely remember something about my son having, and he was just a young toddler at that time, so it may have been that. Anyway, it's just a quick one, just to let you know what was going on. I wanted to say, I've been wanting, a few days ago, I was really wanting a new start, but I think that was just a stress response to all of the worry about getting the other projects done, which is totally weird, because if I was sitting there worried about getting the other projects done, adding in a new start to my rotation would have just thrown out my numbers completely. So I'm glad I kind of just went, you've got 3 lovely projects, you need to get them done. So I didn't do it. I saved myself. Secondly, there's been a few people that made comments about aida or aida. I grew up calling it aida. Obviously other people grew up calling it aida. But I look at it as the same thing as people, different pronunciations from different countries, different areas, different languages. It's like here, I would say privacy. I grew up calling it privacy, but here they call it privacy. I grew up calling things a garage, like a mechanic's garage, or a garage that you put your car in at home. But over here they call it a garage. A cafe that a lot of people call a little restaurant, or that you can have coffee at. Over here, a lot of people call it, or at least in this East End, they call it a calf. Same thing with tomatoes, but in the South you call them tomatoes. You don't say tomatoes, you call them maters or tomatoes. But over here it's tomato. So I'm going to continue calling the fabric aida, because that's the way I've always called it. That's the way people I've always known have called it. And I think that we can all enjoy our differences and just respect the other people for calling them whichever one they're comfortable with. I wanted to say there's a new cross stitcher called Cross Stitching with Mildred. That was lovely. Jeep Girl Stitches is being very good about getting weekly or very frequent videos out, and it's lovely to see her. She's looking great. And Gemma Stitches, she showed the process of making her massive full coverage into a wall hanging, and that was fascinating. And it's kind of, my husband's been wanting me to do one or two of the things I've got done into a wall hanging, especially the one that was a stamped kit with all the flowers and stuff. He wanted me to make that one a wall hanging, and I've always put it off, but I might be doing that soon. My only thing is having the, what to hang it on the wall with. I mean, you can do, it's easy enough to do like little things on the back of it so that you can slip in a dowel or whatever you want to hang it with. You can make little, in quilts, what they do, they'll put like a triangle of fabric in each corner of the wall hanging, and then you just slip in a dowel the right length, and you can hang it up there on the wall without having to worry about buying any particular hardware or anything. A dowel's cheap enough to buy. I don't know. I have other things I want to be doing or need to be doing right now, so it won't be anytime soon, even though it's kind of flirting around, and one day I might just get in the mood and it's like, okay, let's do this. So we'll see about that. Like I said, this past week's been pretty mental. Time, do things I needed to do. So I haven't done any replying to anyone, which I'm terribly sorry about. I guess I should stop apologizing and just get everyone's. And also, I get up early in the morning and I start thinking, oh, I'll start replying. And I'm thinking, well, if I start replying at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock my time, it means that I'll be texting, answering people mostly who live in North America at really odd times. And I was thinking, do I disturb people by messaging them? And then once my day gets busy, and then it's just the last thing I want to do, just start going to bed, and it's like, oh, I forgot. And if I start replying to messages in bed or just before I go to bed, my brain just goes into hyperdrive because I'm trying to reply to everybody, and it means that it takes me a long time to wind down to go to sleep. Anyway, I'm going to go have a lovely walk in the bright sunshine, and I'm wishing you all a wonderful week. You take care of yourselves.